So for those of you who have seen the time for this video and go, wait, whoa, hold on now, I'm not going to sit through all that crap. I've compiled a short list of a few of my sound-based kills which may look a bit suspicious to the unknowing admin. So if you'd like to skip right ahead to the parts which look kind of funny and judge them for yourself with both the camera feeds from Bandicam and the GoPro, you can skip to 1331, 1418, 1616, 1627, 1636, 1650, 1657, 1709, 1718, 1726, 1801, 1811, 1823, 1839, 1850, 1917, 1956, 2038, 2044, 2054, 2101, 2125, 2106, 2206, sorry, 2231, 2250, 2305, 2309, 2315, 2343, 2350, 2417, 2416, 2430, 2441, 2526, 2539, 2625, 2637, 2643, 2654, 2700, 2725, 28, 2808, 2816, 2831, 2914, 2950, 2957, 3003, 3015, one of my favorites, or 3031, and there's also a spot at 2321 to 2342 where I'm spazzing out because I don't know which direction the enemy is coming from, because there's one on my left and one on my right, and I'm not sure which one is where or closer, but I still end up getting two sound-based kills later on. The final score for the most important, the final round, which well, really that was the only full round I played because the ones before then weren't, I didn't stay for very long because either there was a hacker or one of them was just a shitty jump server. Final score is at 3042, if you'd like to check those. As well, you can skip to 1212, 1312, 1446, or 2706 to see examples of people who are actually cheating, in case you didn't know what that looked like. So, sit back and enjoy. Okay, so I didn't want to have to make another one of these videos, obviously, because it takes time out of my day, but occasionally a player of my level is going to run into some issues with administrators and whatnot who, for whatever reason, decide they feel the need to exercise their powers. So in an effort to prove some of them wrong, and hopefully this will serve to help me prove future disputes, I went ahead and donned a GoPro. As you can see, sat in front of my computer, shut it down. First of all, to prove that I didn't have anything fancy running in the background. I didn't have anything planned. I just decided, you know what? Let me do this, and I'll start it off clean to prove that there is no funny business going on. And of course, this was prompted by one such dispute where I was playing on a server, and apparently there was an admin online, and I killed him a few times, and I guess he got pissed or something, and immediately banned me, without specking, nothing. So here I am, unplugging the computer to prove that I don't have anything set up to start when I restart the computer either. Shut off the power supply, I unplugged it and everything. Plug it back in, and I start it back up again. So, I don't have anything plugged in, it's just my mic, my webcam isn't even plugged in, frankly, I hardly use it. So there I am, starting it up again, and sitting down. My computer takes a little bit to boot because it's a little bit bogged down. But at any rate, start the machine back up. Pardon the coughs, by the way. I'm having a bit of issues recently. I guess something's in the air. No big deal. Okay, just checking Facebook on my phone. Letting the machine boot. Now, I have Stardock fences, first of all. And I have Windows 8. I've had it for a while, and my registry is a little, let's say, cluttered at the moment. I haven't really had a chance to clean it. And I have a few driver issues as well, so it takes a little while. First of all, for it to start up. Secondly, for everything to initialize properly. So yeah, mainly it's fences that tends to be a little bit argumentative when I start up the computer. But if I just leave it alone for a little while and let it do its thing, usually turns out all right. Sometimes it likes to crash my Explorer about 10 or 12, 15 times in a row. However. And I gotta actually fight it and rename the executable and restart the computer, which kind of pisses me off because then my icons are all over the place and it looks disgusting. Yet it somehow still functions enough for me to be able to hide them with a double click. But anyways, I'm getting off the point. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to start up Bandicam because that's the software I use to record. A trusty headset. This is the horse upon which I ride into your town to fuck it up. That is my hack. Apparently, is my $40 Audio-Technica ATH M30s. Which I've had since, what, 2013? Beginning of 2014? I don't know, not that long, but a decent amount of time. So I'm just tweaking Bandicam settings, making sure that settings are optimal, which is kind of optimal settings on my computer. That's kind of an oxymoron there, but I do my best. So I've got it, if I recall. I can't really see because I'm looking at it in Premiere Pro right now. It's all tiny, but let me see if I can zoom it in. If I recall, it's motion JPEG at 70 quality, half resolution, well, 720, which would be, I'm recording it 1080p, but downsizing. Anyways, 30 FPS. Okay, here I am going through the taskbar items one by one and closing ones I don't need, such as TeamViewer and Megasync. This is my Komodo firewall. I'm just trying to prove that I don't have anything funny running. The Genius utility there has to do with my webcam, and it runs even when it's not plugged in, so I just generally don't mess with it. Now I'm going through my mouse utility. Now, I know it looks really fancy, and like I have some kind of, really professional, technical, high-end mouse, but that's not necessarily true. the thing costs $40 and is some kind of like Chinese knockoff of a knockoff. It claims to go up to 16,400 DPI. I don't think it actually does. It's probably just emulated, but anyways. I go into my macro manager, within which I have basically no macros because I don't use them. There's no real use for them in my life at all, in daily life, let alone in a game. So I don't have any foul boosters, I don't have any kind of auto-click, no rapid fire, I don't have any kind of this magical shit that everyone seems to think I have, because apparently the human finger can't click a mouse button more than 2 or 3 times per second, which I'm never going to understand how people make that assumption. So you can see what I have bound to every button there. It's all just numpad. I took off any semblance of macro to prove that it's not even there. Even if the macros themselves that I had were completely useless. I mean, the only one that I had on there was a double switch, and that's just the weapon switch button twice, and it didn't even work the way I wanted it to. Okay, so before I start, first of all, to prove that I don't have a modified binary or something like that, some kind of crazy shit I'm sure somebody would come up with, I'm going to go ahead and head over to Rep's forum and get myself a fresh copy of the client as soon as I can find it, because I was kind of stumbling around like an idiot for a few minutes there. And then I went and clicked on the wrong button. But anyways, I get it eventually. There you go, fresh binary and everything. I don't have any kind of, special tools or anything running. There's a cable to my headset, I'm still wearing it. Real quick, let's take a trip into my classes. Now here, the Wolf class is the famous class that gets me banned from one place every other time I start up the game. Now, as you can see in each of these, first of all, the most common, the thing that almost all of them have in common, if not all of them, if I recall correctly, is that they all have Ninja Pro on, which equals silent footsteps, which means I don't have to filter my own footsteps out to find out where yours are. Now, oh, they all have it, okay. Another thing that I commonly put on my classes is silencers. So if I'm firing, the only way that you're going to know where I am is if you as well have stereo sound and don't have your game muted like it seems that 80% of the user base has, and can tell the direction from which my fire is coming. Or if you get shot and aren't stupid and you can see where the little red radial is pointing. It's really not that hard to figure out, to be honest. So I enter a server, just any random server. I type in the FPS command again because I wasn't paying attention and didn't realize it was already on the screen, so you can go ahead and see that.
Hardcore, free for all.
Now, for some reason, even though my game runs at over 100 FPS, I can't really record at a consistent frame rate. That kind of irritates me. Can't figure out why, but that's something else. That's aside for now. This character here, as you can see, is indeed using aimbot. You could tell by the way that his camera tracked the players as they moved And it wasn't like a normal tracking like you'd see from a human player, that this was a smooth automatic tracking. This is further proven in the upcoming round, because that very same person just takes the gloves off, they stop giving a shit, and they just go full aimbot. There I am messing with the screen to prove that it's not superimposed, as if all the other stuff that's already been shown is in any way, you know, like, replicable. It's just, I don't know, I'm just trying to avoid any kind of possible accusation. There it is. See, that's what cheating looks like. That's what real aimbot looks like. Not the way I play.
UAV spotted.
Yet another example. Now, I would think it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what cheating actually looks like compared to a legitimate player actually using sound. It's not an excuse. It wasn't a lie. I didn't just make that up on the fly to try and get unbanned from some place to just hack again. I didn't hack. I don't do it.
Team deathmatch. Rangers lead the way. Changing mag. Hardcore, free-for-all. Let's do this.
Oh, here's some perfect examples of my sound-based movements. Now, as you can see, I'm running after people and I'm firing at people who are behind walls or obstacles, or running toward people who have just spawned or are hiding behind things. Now, as you can see, number one, by the game recording itself, there's nothing on the screen. There's no tools, there's nothing fancy going on. As you can see by the Bandicam, the GoPro, for example, here's a good example here. I tracked him with no wall hacks. Can you explain that? I guess it must have been aliens. So, as you can see very clearly on my screen, there's another example. On the GoPro feed, there's nothing fancy on the screen. There's no chams, there's no ESP, there's no wall hack, there's no bone tracking. I've got no aimbot, no aim assist, none of that magical shit. I have no, as a friend of mine so eloquently put it, If I recall what it was. Bionic hydraulical cheating socks or something like that. That shot was pure luck, I admit. I didn't think I was gonna hit that. Doing well so far. See, there's a perfect example of sound-based tracking that failed. I didn't see that guy. I heard him, I went after him, but I passed him right by because I didn't see him, and he killed me. Now, how I missed the fact that he was sitting in the corner, I don't know. Because, I mean, on one hand, yeah, sure, the ghillie suit does kind of obfuscate the general silhouette of the player, but he was in a corner that really doesn't have anything in it, so I should have known better. But the point is, I didn't see him. I knew he was in there somewhere, I just didn't see him. There I go, pre-firing, which I do often. Well, not that often. I try to refrain from pre-firing because it tends to get me kicked from places. For reasons that are obvious. I mean, to be fair, if it were on my server and somebody were playing the way that I was, I would probably be specking them for the next 2 or 3 games at least. Now, the very fact that I play like this means that I don't ban people outright for it, and I most certainly don't refuse to listen to unban requests such as some colorful characters in the community. I'm sure anyone who's been banned by them knows exactly who I'm talking about, and I'm sure the reps admins know exactly who I'm talking about. I don't have to say names. You know who you are. Anyways, if someone were to play like this on my server, number one, one of my admins, of course, they probably would have banned them after specking for a minute or two. We have very well-disciplined admins because, number one, as one of the head administrators, I don't take any bullshit. That's just something that we don't do there. I'm a very peaceful person, of course. I don't ever talk down to our staff, I don't ever talk down to our players. But I take no bullshit. So, if someone does wrong, the thing is that we have a system of warnings, we have a system of discipline, where if somebody screws something up, they take responsibility for it, and if they apologize and realize they did something wrong, then fine. That's on them, you know? After a couple of times, they get what's known in our community as an admin warning, and they can get 3 before their admin rights are simply taken away. It doesn't matter how well we like you in the community, if you keep screwing up, unfortunately, as a form of discipline, we have to revoke your admin privileges. That's just the way that it works. So far, we've only had maybe 2 or 3 people out of 30 plus admins that we've had since we started the forum and the servers. Or really, at least since I joined, because when I joined, the group had already existed for at least a year or 2. I'm not even sure, to be honest. But it's been around for a while. I've been around for a while. I myself have never received a single unban request. I've never received a single complaint that I know of. I mean, certainly I've had a few players complain about an action that I took in-game, or rather a lack thereof, where there would be somebody that everyone would claim was hacking, you know, oh, this guy's wall hacking, he's following me through walls, such and such and such. Basically, he played like me. And then, later on, someone else banned him, and then we scanned their machine, and he was completely clean. We did it over TeamViewer. And no, they didn't clean out logs or anything like that. They don't exist in just one place. It doesn't just scan the registry once. There are logs and traces in all kinds of different places, and the software that we have checks them. So, I'm not saying I put my 100% utmost trust in the software that we have. Of course, there's always exceptions, but I legitimately do not believe that anything like that could have happened. here I am thinking that I'm calling someone out. But apparently they were a little farther off, or they moved or something, or maybe I was just hearing something else falling. That guy, however, I did hear. Anyways, back to my point. Those very same people who were accused of hacking and later were proven to be innocent, we actually added as admins onto our team. Not as clan members, because the point that we're trying to make isn't that we're trying to amass good players in the clan to just try and, you know, stomp everyone else, because that's not the point. They made admin requests, so they made legitimate requests. We'd known them for a good amount of time. We knew they were good players and they played clean, so we added them. Some of them have moved on since then, but the majority of them remain admins or moderators to this day. You guys know who you are. I'm sure you can vouch, not only for the cleanliness of our community and the efficiency with which it runs, but also that I play clean, that I can sometimes, I have my good days, I have my bad days.
I have to make another one of these.
Oh, here I go talking. But
I swear to God, I'm getting so fucking sick of this. I'm getting so fucking sick of this. Oh, I saw you in the kill cam. You tracked me through walls.
But in general, you guys know that I play clean.
Motherfucker, footsteps are loud as shit in MW2.
And that some days, I can really get into the groove, and the game is effectively mine as soon as I jump in. You guys have the same days, a lot more often than I do, granted, but I have them too.
Nobody uses Dead Silence or Ninja Pro or Silence. See, look, I got that guy because of his fucking footsteps too.
So you can tell I'm very upset in this video because
not only laggy,
this was relatively fresh after I'd been banned and my appeal had been denied. Even though I provided past videos, which will be linked, which also prove that I play this way and don't cheat, but perhaps this one will be a better example. I couldn't possibly imagine how this could be a better example than my video where I got banned by one of our very own admins on my very own servers, ex-admins, where I basically pre-aimed and pre-fired the shit out of everything on purpose because I was recording just as I am now, and I decided to play extra dirty like I am in this game just so I could record it and prove everyone wrong. And that kept everyone quiet for quite some time. But it looks like the time has come again that I gotta start over. So, here I am.
And I know the timing of the spawn. It's not like it's hard to figure out. You just got to play, and after a while it becomes subconscious. Here's another guy behind the tank, sir.
How do you explain that one?
How else but footsteps?
Oh.
He took 2 steps.
I thought it was hacks. Thought it was magic.
That's all it takes.
Magic and hacks and cocaine.
Somebody else spawned there, most likely. No? Alright.
Now, as you can see in this game, not only am I'm not going to say I'm following people through walls, but I'm homing in on them because I hear their footsteps and I know where they're moving. If you turn up the volume, you'll hear the same things. Now, I don't know if I'm the only person who plays with headphones or volume for that matter. By the way,
that was a real wall.
There was somebody who was actually cheating, if you're wondering what it looks like, because I really haven't moved, number one. Number two, again, I have Ninja Pro, so
they're a fucking beast in a
there's not really any kind of believable way that could have been a viable, you know, that could have been a legitimate kill. Coming from a person who plays as dirty as I am when I feel like it, as dirty as I do when I feel like it, playing like this, I believe 100% that that person was cheating. Now, as you can see, some of these guys are slipping by me because either I don't really have enough time to react, or I don't hear them amidst some other explosion or some gunfire, which sounds just as crunchy as the footsteps. So, kills like that, where it might look like I'm using aimbot, are proven wrong by the fact that I'm still shot by people who are behind me, which would not happen if I had aimbot. Just the same as there are people who will be hiding someplace and I'll hear them and I'll go after them, but since they're not moving, I don't see them, I run right by them and they shoot me. That proves that I'm not using cams, or chams, that I'm not using Fulbright, I'm not using ESP, no aimbot, no bone tracking, I'm not using anything like that. Nothing fancy. I'm literally using nothing. You watched me boot up the game. And the computer, for that matter.
Kind of close-minded comment, I mean... What did this have to do with the concrete? Oh my god!
It would be so much better if the C4 trigger were RR instead of E, because I always find myself picking up shitty weapons that are empty like that when I try to set them off and I'm hitting E, because I don't have time to hit the actual trigger.
You don't get to feel anything. If you wear gloves all the time, what happens when you need to use parkour you're not wearing gloves? Arms almost up.
Unrelated banter.
Precious, pretty manicured hands get all scraped up. I hurt my hands because I didn't have my gloves. Ah! Almost had him. There's one on each side. That's when I start to panic, is when I've got one on each side and I'm not sure which one to take first. And I don't
That's
know
what
which
she
one's
said.
closer. I can't do threat assessment now because I don't know which one is closer or which one is actually coming towards me.
Time's almost up.
Watch this.
This here. This here. See that? Ah, and I got killed anyway.
I was real proud of that one. Got killed anyways, of course, but I was proud of it.
That's fine, I recorded it. Hopefully the Bandicam recording actually is out. But either way, it's on the...
Also good proof that someone can indeed be versatile.
Okay, well, I am in first with 91 and 63. I think that speaks for its fucking self.
Witnesses.
Would you look at that? Would you look at that?
Gee, I wonder how I got so many kills and relatively few deaths. So, I hope everyone enjoyed this. I hope that this proves some people wrong. I don't want to use the word haters, of course, or noobs, but not really sure what other terms are appropriate when a person who self-professes to be a good player, then does little more than camp or spray LMGs or use grenade launchers or, you know, etc, 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 and then outright kicks or bans players who do better than them, or even so much as kill them, or really even just take their care package, even as a teammate, for no reason, literally not adding a reason to the kick or ban. I'm really not sure how else to describe that person except immature, self-righteous, very entitled, at least they feel entitled, and really deserving to be knocked down a peg. That's not good for the gaming community, for the MW2 community, it's not good for the reps community, it's really not good for gaming in general. Now, I'm not saying I'm surprised to run into a person like this on the internet or anywhere else for that matter, but I don't really think that I have to look far to find somebody who agrees with me. These are examples of people abusing their power, which they gave themselves, which is perfectly fine. You pay for your server, you know, great, whatever. You have your own admins, you trust them for some reason, great, whatever. That doesn't make you right. This is the point that I'm trying to prove. It does not make you right. You're still an asshole, you're still a liar, you're still a cheater. This is tantamount to cheating. Kicking players who are better than you so that you appear better on your own servers. That's tantamount to cheating. So, if you would like to prove me wrong with some kind of proof that I was cheating, feel free. Matter of fact, I challenge you to do so, because you'd be hard-pressed to trump this. So, keep your foot on the pedal, finger on the trigger. Psy out.